So the appeals court has rejected an attempt to prevent the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umo Eno, from taking part in the 2023 election. A PDP governorship aspirant, Akan Okon, had asked the court to disqualify Pastor Eno over allegations that he had forged the West African examination certificate he had submitted to the Electoral Commission, INEC. A lower court had already dismissed the suit for lacking in merit and for the inability of the complainant to prove the case. So, is there now hope for the future for the PDP in Akwa Ibom State? Or is the path to victory in the 2023 governorship election still murky? Are there more pressures and perils along the way? For more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the PDP governorship candidate in Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umo Eno. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
Reflect for us on your victory at the appeals court, which affirmed you as the PDP governorship candidate for Akwa Ibom State in this election.
Well, the truth here is we like to thank God, first of all, who vindicates the just, and then you also want to thank the judiciary for what I consider a great job that they have done. Because you remember, my defense lawyers filed out of time, and that was a big, big burden. It was something, everyone thought, if you don't file within time, the petition of the applicants will be it's granted. But you see, that was not to be, because the judiciary, the judges took time to look at all of the things that happened at the trial level and came out with that conclusion. So it's victory for democracy, victory, and thanks to the judiciary for doing such a great job.
So having been cleared of an attempt to disqualify you over this alleged certificate forgery, does that now give you the moral high ground in this election and therefore makes it possible for you to score more political points?
I believe so. There were a lot of people, back home in the villages, what people hear influences them a lot. A lot of people go to town, say so many things, and some people are waiting on the fence, like undecided voters. They want to see the outcome before they make up their mind. Of course, if you have someone that has that kind of baggage and a character question, then that will mean a lot to some people, and of course to everybody. So I believe that by the grace of God, we've gone past that. I hope my brother and friend will see the need to know that these allegations were not true, cannot be proven, is unthinkable for me, considering the kind of background I was raised and the kind of parenthood that I had. You can't think of those things. They were just laughable for me. I knew they were false. But again, when you throw yourselves into the ring, in politics in Nigeria, these are some of the things you come away with, and you must be ready to take them on. And we just thank God that hopefully this should be behind us.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, are you now out of the woods as far as court cases are concerned, or are there still some cases hanging over your head?
So far, I think we're good. But again, people come up with things every day. Like I said, when you are in this race, you don't foreclose anything. You don't foreclose anything. Your opponents keep manufacturing things, keep looking for things, and that's the unfortunate part of things in this country. We leave the issues that we're supposed to deal with that will benefit the electorate, and we keep dealing with issues, just like you said in your last interview. You keep finding this mess thrown around everybody, and then at the end of the day, the masses suffer.
But obviously integrity is very important,
it
isn't it? So
I admit.
If we have to go through that, I mean, it's probably better that the candidates like yourself are, forensically examined before they're given the responsibility of running the state.
Absolutely. But I just would like to see these things for the things that we're sure can be proven and that it's true. But you see, what happens is like because for example, I'm campaigning on character, competence. I'm campaigning on capacity and compassion. All of those things, people want to query them and try to, you heard of a story where I live in Akwa Ibom. I do business in Akwa Ibom, but I was tried in Abuja in a magistrate court. The papers never got to me.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, because I'm calling it a reported case of alleged cheating and the conversion of the salary of your staff for personal use brought against you by some chap known as Edet Godwin Etim or something before a magistrate court in Abuja. I mean, what's the story there? Because I understand that at one stage a warrant was issued for your arrest.
I don't even know the staff. I've had over 2,000 staff pass through our establishment in the last 25 years. This staff claims, from what I now discovered, that he worked for me sometime in 2007. This is 2023. And then he's gone to court in Abuja. But again, the issue of whether it's right or wrong is not even something I want to look at here. But the point is, how do you go to court in Abuja, completely out of jurisdiction? The man you've taken to court is not served, and then there is a judgment entered, and there's a warrant arrest issued to arrest the person. And it looks like some kind of Banana Republic thing we're doing here.
But I'm wondering how much your reputation, which you have tried very hard to cultivate, to portray as unblemished, has been tainted by, all these sort of, by the cumulative effect of all of this, even though you seem to have scaled through all the cases.
If you bring Jesus to contest election in Nigeria, they will taint him. So it's one of the things, it's a tool that the opposition will use. So I'm not really bothered about that. The truth here is, at the end of the day, you're vindicated. And there are things you have to go through. There are things you have to go through, and you must brace up for it. Not just what you've gone through, but there are many more things I know will come. Because every day, the opponent looks for things to throw at you, just to taint, again, your character and your reputation.
And you mentioned Jesus there. I mean, how much does the fact that you are a religious figure play out or play into this governorship election? Are you using religious symbols to amplify and popularize your message in the setting of this election?
No, you can't use religious symbols.
Well, you mentioned Jesus a number of times.
I'm a pastor, and you can't take that away from me. That's who I am, and those are the areas, of course, I'm going to cite my example. And so it's just natural. If you belong to any other sets, you will always cite your example around the area you're familiar with.
Right, and that's an area but you're also a businessman.
Of course I'm a businessman. I cite examples.
So presumably the competence you're offering to the Akwa Ibom people goes beyond being a pastor.
Of course. It goes in my work, in my business. I've been in business in the last 25 years. I've run my own business. And so I bring that experience to the table.
Now, you've been quoted as saying that if you win, a golden era awaits the people of Akwa Ibom State. What exactly do you mean by a golden era? And how is that golden era going to add value to the people of Akwa Ibom State?
Great. You say the word golden actually started, my wife, and I must thank her so much, gave that to me. And again, you see how politics plays out. This was what the opponents tried to use about, my skin color, and it was the first thing was that
you're golden.
No. It was like you have an albino contesting for office.
Well, you're certainly not an albino.
Okay. And so my wife on my birthday said, well, no matter what they call you, because they tried to body shame me, and you are my golden boy. And so that got stuck with the people.
Well, that's a nice thing to say from her.
And then we moved on, and that's, of course, from someone like a wife, that was, I like you the way you are. That's who you are. But again, the golden era simply can be defined to be a better moment, the best moment. Of course, every successive government in Akwa Ibom, if you look through the trajectory of Akwa Ibom, government after government comes and ups the game.
Yeah. Actually, you guys have been very fortunate.
We've had very,
to be honest.
Yes.
You've been
and
very
then
fortunate.
The present administration of Dikinudom Gabriel Emmanuel came on, and you can see all of the things he has done. Opened up Akwa Ibom, land, air, and sea. And we're doing so much infrastructural development. So we believe, to my mind, this is the silver era. So we're coming in with the golden era, with the golden boy, and trying to, because of the policies we drive, we have an Arise, incidentally, we have an Arise agenda. Even though
yes, I saw it on your manifesto.
Arise,
said Arise. I was
Arise,
like,
yes, you know. And maybe before you know it,
Arise
maybe before you know it, and I am on Arise TV, there could be something like, oh, maybe he's a co-owner of the TV. You see,
yeah, well, can I be ineluctably clear? He's not a co-owner, and he's got nothing to do with Arise. Thank you.
Yeah, so, you know, these are the kind of things, but Arise Agenda is an acronym for the program we want to run in Akwa Ibom. That's the agricultural revolution, rural development, and I'm very big, I'm very keen, I'm very passionate about rural development. We have a lot of programs, rural development, infrastructural maintenance, and of course you opt on your infrastructure, and then security. Because again, Akwa Ibom has been blessed by a leader who has sacrificed a lot to give Akwa Ibom the peace we now enjoy, and we need to continue with that trajectory. People who live in Akwa Ibom know how it used to be and what it is now. So we can't drop the ball. And then, of course, education, entrepreneurship, economic development, all of those things come into what we call the Arise agenda. So those, when we're able to execute all of those points that we have listed, of course, we bring Akwa Ibom into the golden era.
Right. Well, that's very interesting. And that's your central message to the people of Akwa Ibom.
Correct.
Okay. Let's turn to the national level and the scrap between the PDP and the APC that you heard us talking about earlier, with charges of money laundering, corruption, drug dealing leveled against each sort of presidential candidate, coming from the two parties that know each other quite well. Is there a presumption of a measure of guilt here, even though there's been no conviction? What's your take on all of that?
I would rather like to say that, like you said, and I agree, that these things be taken through, and I won't sit here to say anyone is guilty of anything, because I've been through some of these allegations myself, and it would be very wrong to prejudge anything.
Yeah, but the problem is that the difference is that it's coming from the top echelons of the two political parties, the two biggest parties in Nigeria, and the two parties whose presidential candidates have presided over the affairs of this country at very high levels.
As I say, the truth is, the same people talking now, in another swap, you see them wine and dine together. So at the end of the day, you really ask yourself, what's all this about? I will try.
Do you think it's hot air, do you?
Yes, I try as much as possible not to get into this kind of issues, because for me, it's always an attempt to, you know, put some things in the public.
Yeah, but they've
domain.
gone to court against your presidential candidate.
Well,
if that thing turns sour, I mean,
well,
it's going to affect you.
Let's ask the question that a sitting minister of the Federal Republic now decides to jump out of his legitimate duty and starts going to court. We must also look at all of that.
Yeah, but that also it also suggests that he has enough conviction in whatever evidence he has to go to court.
Let us see. We're all looking forward to see how that plays out.
Right.
We look forward to see how that plays out. But let's hope it's not another political diversionary tactics to just distract the people. This is what I've come to see. I am not a career politician as it will be, but the bits I know and what I've seen is that these are all things meant to distract the general public.
Okay.
I'm not suspecting voters.
Right. Okay, I want to thank you very much indeed, Pastor Umo Eno, for taking the time to come and talk to us. He is, of course, the PDP governorship candidate in Akwa Ibom State, and congratulations again on your victory in court. And I hope that's the last that you have to deal with that.
I hope so too.
Thank you very much.
Thank
indeed.
you so much.
Very
for
interesting
having me.
talking with you.
Thank you so much.